Whoop. Hey everybody, sorry, my mom is trying to call me as I'm going live. Let me just put my, oh, it is on Do Not Disturb. I don't know what's going on. How is everybody? Welcome to Woo Woo Wednesday. I am so excited to have you all here. I am just going to wait a minute for people to join, but I hope your week has been going well so far. I hope that you enjoyed yesterday's Teacher Craft Tuesday. I love having different teachers come and join us. It's so fun to hear about other people's crafts and, you know, just get some additional knowledge and training around things. Let me know who's here as you pop in. Say hi, say what you're excited for about today's training. I have about probably half an hour to 40 minutes on here today, and then I'm heading actually to an event in Boston for some soulful business owners that I'm co-hosting with another Boston business lady. So I am so excited because I have so many amazing friends all over the world, but I don't really have many spiritual boss babe friends in Boston, which is kind of crazy. So getting out of my comfort zone. All right, awesome. People are joining. Say hi, let us know that you're here. I am so excited about today's topic. We are going to be diving into how you can bring the woo into your biz to really skyrocket your success. And I think a lot of the time, like there's like the misconception that, you know, when you're doing woo-woo stuff, you're not being grounded, you're not being practical. But I think that it is so necessary for business. And again, this is just my personal opinion because in my experience, when I incorporated more soulful practices inside of my business, that's when I saw things skyrocket. That's when things really fell into alignment for me. So you can get as woo-woo as, you know, Akashic Records reading and tarot and, you know, astrology, or you can stay a little bit, you know, more mainstream, I guess you would say, and just do like mindset work or wealth consciousness work. It's all, I kind of categorize that as woo-woo if it's not, you know, the masculine business structures. So anyone I think will tell you inside a business that the mindset work and really just being, you know, in that space is so powerful. So these tools or the woo-woo tools just help to enhance that. And so as I was preparing for today's training, I was thinking about all the different tools that I use inside of my business to really help to skyrocket my business success. And as I was writing everything out, I was realizing that these could be broken down into probably so many different trainings. So today I am focusing on tarot or tarot, however you want to call it, because I think there's enough to talk about right in there. So we're going to be talking about tarot cards and oracle cards today. And in future weeks, we can talk about different tools, but I figured I'd go like, you know, a little bit deeper into one of them rather than just skim the surface of all of them. So let me know who's here. Usually people are hitting up the comments and I don't see anything. So I want to make sure that you guys can see me. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Last time I did this, my sound wasn't working. So please let me know in the swipe left to reveal comments and reactions. Oh, I didn't see people saying hi. Okay, there we go. Yay. Okay, you guys can hear me? Loving the hearts, loving the hearts. Dazzle loves the hearts too. She loves attention. You can hear me. Okay, perfect. Good to know. All right, so let's dive in. Sound is working. Yes, awesome. Cool. All right, so a lot of people think of tarot as a fortune telling tool, and it totally can give people guidance for the future, but it can also shed light into past and present situations. So gaining deeper insight into your past can be really useful because it can shed light on lessons learned from the past, and it can also indicate a pattern that might be coming up in your life that is repeating itself in the present. So, you know, learning or knowing about your past is really important for your present and your future. So then in terms of the present moment, tarot can be really useful in highlighting current energies that you might be dealing with and how to make the most of those energies in order to create a reality that you desire for your future. So tarot can be used, for every aspect of life, but we're really just going to be talking about it today in terms of your business. So when would you use it? Well, you would use it when you're looking for some deeper insight into any part of your business. And how to use it is, you can be really simple or you can get really complex, but the way that I use it is I ask a question about, something that I just desire more insight around. It's really simple. And again, you can do like 3-card spreads, you can do the Celtic cross, like there's so many different spreads that you can do. But today we're going to be keeping it pretty simple. So let's talk about an example here. So if you were trying to make a decision between 2 different strategies inside of your business, you could ask, if I implement option A, what would that look like? Or if I implemented option B, what would that look like? And then you could pull cards for each situation based off of the reading. And you can then feel into which option feels most aligned for you to implement inside of your business. Other questions that you can ask, and I'm being completely serious around this, like this is something that can give you so much insight and direction into your business. So I know when I first heard about this, I was like, that's kind of crazy. I don't know if this really makes sense to consult cards around this, but it's been really enlightening for me. So other questions you can ask are, when it comes to hiring my new VA, what do I need to be aware of? Or what are some energies coming up for me around my launch this month? Or what are some lessons from my past launch that I should be aware of this time around and, moving forwards? Or how can I make the most of my team and their support during this rebrand that I have coming up? You could just be pulling them on a daily basis and say, what energy is going to serve me most today in accomplishing my goals? And then you pull one card, and based off of the card that you pull, you do a small meditation or a visualization to invoke the energy of that card, and you leave it by your workspace as a reminder for the rest of the day. So when you're you're taking action, you're coming back to that energy to really support you. So, kind of getting into the how-to of all this. Some people are really strict about like the rules and, the details of this. I'm not so much. I'm all about going with what works best for you and what feels most aligned. So I would say that you shuffle the cards as you would any playing deck. And what you can do is you can either fan out the deck of cards and then, pick from there, or you can cut the deck into 3 smaller decks. And then take a top pile and pile the rest underneath it. And so then from there, you would just take the top cards off and you would pull them in succession. So those are 2 ways that you could do it, whatever you feel called to do. So when you're reading a spread, so when you're pulling these cards, it's not just about like the individual meanings of each of the cards, but also about the overall themes and the story that's painted across all of the cards that are pulled. What cards do you like to use? Good question. So I have the original Rider-Waite Tarot. So this one right here. Honestly, it's kind of ugly. I'm not going to lie. I'll show you some of the cards moving forwards, but the reason that I bought that, I really struggle with combining meanings. Yeah, I know. So tarot is like one of the newest tools that I've been using, so I am by no means an expert, and I say that because I think that, first of all, I don't know if you ever become an expert in anything. I think you can always be learning, but there's no reason that you can't use this in your business right now. The more that you practice, the more that you use them, the more familiar they're going to become, and so there, again, no reason to not start now. So yeah, the reason that I originally bought this deck was because it is like the original, or not the original, but one of the original decks, and there's so much information around this deck. So I think that it would just be I thought it would be helpful to just have, basically a foundation of knowledge that, the original one came from. But really go to like what you feel drawn to, because I think that's important. So again, like there are books out there and tons of information around what the symbols and the images and storylines mean on these cards, and a lot of them, like, they tap into the collective consciousness. But I also think that it's really important to use your own intuition to look into these cards on an even deeper level. So while there are totally the textbook definitions, there are also your own feelings and storylines that can be created from looking into the cards as well. So what I did when I was first learning them, and again, I'm still learning them, I'm still implementing this, but I would look at the card, and I think I have it like in my journal somewhere. Let's see. Yeah. So I would look at the card and like write, it's really like chicken scribble, but I would write down like everything that came to mind, like when I read that card, and I would just, you know, like make it up, just whatever was coming to mind. And then afterwards I went through the book to see like what it said, and you can kind of add to it as you desire. And just because you pull one card one day and it's like, you know, you have one definition that comes up around it, doesn't mean it's going to be the same way the next day if you pull it. So really, as much as you can, like, use this as a tool to open up your intuition, because the more that you go with your intuition and less with, like, you know, the textbook definitions, the better. So you probably like want to hear some examples in practice. So I'm going to share an example of how I used it specifically yesterday inside my business, and then today I did a reading for all of you. So yesterday I was feeling a little bit stuck about the direction that I was moving in for a project that's in the works, and I was looking for some guidance moving forward. So I decided to do a tarot spread and ask the question, what can help me move past this feeling of stagnation and powerfully move forward, so I'm excited to take action inside of my business and bring the next stage of my new project to life. So then I broke it down into 3 categories. Or like 3 different cards that I was going to pull. So the first one was going to be what will help me, and I pulled the Fool for that one. The second one was what will hinder me, and I pulled Strength. And the third one is what is my unrealized potential, and I pulled the High Priestess. Now, these are all major arcana cards, which kind of shed light into overall themes of your life. Like, when these come up, it's like you pay more attention to them. So these were some biggies that I pulled. And the reading helped me realize that what's really going to help me move forward is to take risks and embark on a new journey, because the Fool is like, it's kind of like represents 0 in the deck, and it's all about like starting your journey, kind of like taking that leap of faith. And a part of me has been really fearful about this next step in my business, because it's going to be doing something totally different that I've never seen done before in the marketplace. Sure, there's been elements here and there, but I've never seen someone create a model like this before. And you often hear that you don't want to be the trailblazer, but instead you want to be the person who comes after the trailblazer, so you're not the one dealing with like all the weeds and the obstacles on the path. And so I've had this like notion in the back of my mind that I'm being crazy or just totally naive for wanting to be the trailblazer. But this card confirmed for me that it's okay to be the dreamer and the idealist embarking on a new journey. And in fact, what's going to serve me most is letting my dreams and desires lead me and taking that leap of faith and just going for it. So that was really exciting. Thank you for the hearts. I appreciate it. So then in terms of the Strength card, I felt into that, and it felt like, you know, what it meant was that if I'm too avoidant of risk, conflicts, or like big decision making, then hopes of moving forward might be hindered. So not being patient enough could be another thing that prevents me from reaching my ultimate goal. And ultimately, like, what this also showed me was whatever I resist will persist massively. So it is not in my best use or, you know, in my favor to use like all my strength and my energy to resist these things, but instead to just, you know, face them head on and deal with them as they come. And then the third card was around what my unrealized potential was. And I got the High Priestess, which like gave me goosebumps, because she is really all about bridging between like the two worlds of like the physical reality and the more like esoteric plane. So in the high priestess like also represents like your higher purpose, like your bigger calling. So to me, it meant that if I was able to like take that leap of faith and follow my heart while also, you know, meeting my challenges head on, then what's possible for me is to be so tapped into the divine feminine and to fully embrace and embody magic and, you know, the woo-woo world. And so like I said, what's so amazing about the high priestess is she's able to travel between realms. So my unrealized potential will ultimately be about elegantly dancing between the earth planes and like the celestial realms. And so as you guys know, like I always say, I practice something called BizWoo, which is basically alchemizing strategy, soul, and spirituality together. So it just like made so much sense and was really exciting. So Megan said, "Ooh, it's amazing." Yeah, it was perfect. It was just confirming some things, but also shedding some light on things that I wasn't seeing. So I really was questioning if I was crazy for taking on this this new project. And that Fool, like, you know, approaching things like with that like lighthearted, like excited, you know, whatever, like I'm just gonna almost like leap before I look. Which I'm not leaping before I look, but you know what I'm saying. So it just gave me reassurance that what I'm doing is on the right path. So that was exciting. So another example of how I used tarot inside of my business was this morning as I was prepping for this training. So I consulted my deck and I asked, what do the women inside of the Success Alchemist Society need to know or be made aware of about invoking woo-woo practices inside of their business to experience skyrocketing success? And so I broke it up into 4 different areas. So the first was, what are misconceptions or fears that they have or what's holding them back? 2, the second card I was gonna pull for you guys was about what can they do to mix biz and woo together in a powerful way? So like what kind of actions can they take? 3, the third card was about what will the outcome be or what's possible for them if they take that action. And then 4 was like, what's the overall theme or learning from this? So I'm gonna show you the cards that I pulled. So the first card was, and again, these aren't the most beautiful cards, unfortunately. So the first card that I pulled was the 5 of Wands. So this immediately signaled fear, disagreement, conflict, and competition. So when I felt into it a bit further, I found that overall people inside of this space, and this is not everyone, it's just kind of like the overall feel, but people inside of this space are afraid that their ideas and their beliefs around woo-woo things or taboo subjects are like too much for some people to handle, and that if they incorporate it into their business, they might not be received well by others, or it might be kind of like crazy and people will judge them. So there's this internal struggle that's taking place around how to do business in your own unique way because you are fearful of what people will have to say about your approach. Also, there was a sense of like comparisonitis that came up in the sense that if you were to dive into these woo-woo practices, you might feel inadequate or like stupid and would compare yourself to other spiritual gurus and have this feeling of like not being enough, not knowing enough, and not knowing if you're doing it right. But you know, the truth is, that's so funny. Rebecca says that is a perfect description of my internal struggle. I love that. So it's accurate for you. Very cool. So the answer here is that there is no right or wrong way to do business or to do the woo-woo practices. It's all about what feels true for you. There's always going to be someone who disagrees or has something negative to say, but you cannot let that hold you back. And there's always going to be someone who's more knowledgeable than you at something. This was something that I struggled with for so long because I was like, who am I to be, you know, reading these cards, or who am I to be like giving people astrology advice? But like, who am I not to be doing this? If this is what lights me up and what I'm passionate about, then why not? And so same for all of you, like we all start somewhere. So the Fool inside of tarot is representative of, so there's like, the major arcana is made up of, cards that basically describe like the hero's journey. And so the Fool is like at the very, very beginning. And so we all start from that beginning place and, you know, we make our way on our journey. So we have to start somewhere, but feel into what's most in alignment for you and what's right for you in this moment, and then just go for it. Like I said, not everybody is going to agree. And I'll talk more about the other cards that I pulled out because it kind of goes along with everything. Okay, so then for how you can mix the biz and the woo together in a powerful way, the Ace of Pentacles appeared. And this was exciting because the feeling I got from it was all about taking a new approach and bringing a fresh energy to the way that you go about your business. So when you do this, so when you take that new, fresh approach, abundance is automatically going to flow to you. So this card, oh, let me show you. The Ace of Pentacles right there. So your action step here is to take the more, you know, earthly things, intangibles, and mix it with some woo-woo practices. So one example could be the law of attraction. So by clearly stating your intentions, holding the vision for your desires, feeling into the energy of them, and like acting as if it's already happening, you will be presented with like divine downloads or hits of inspired action to take. And then once you take those actions, your intentions are going to manifest like crazy. That's like basically what this card is saying. So what's going to be important here is that you take action in a different way. So you're not taking action the same way that you always have. So let's just say, like, instead of just mapping out your goals and breaking them down step by step and like writing them out and like being very kind of like logical and linear about it, invoke a woo-woo practice into the equation, like creating a ritual of some sort. It can be so simple, but you could light a candle and set an intention and visualize the outcome prior to diving into your more masculine actions. Like something like that can totally change the feeling around it. You could also ask yourself, like, how do I most desire to feel as I go about planning my next launch? And you could think about like 3 core desired feelings that you want to feel, and then how you can take action according to those feelings. So what actions can you take that are going to help you with your launch, but also bring you in alignment with feeling those things? So remember, in order to get results that you've never experienced, you have to do things that you've never done before. It's scary, but this card is basically saying, like, do it, because abundance is on the other side for you. So then when it came to the outcome of what's available for you guys when you invoke the woo-woo practices into your business, I pulled the 10 of Pentacles. So this is all about ultimate fulfillment. So it also signifies financial security, accomplishment, and comfort. So it's really the culmination of all of your hard work and effort, and it really speaks to the fact that everything on your journey so far has happened for a reason and ultimately will happen for a reason, and that it all works out beautifully in the end. So it's really exciting. So in a nutshell, when you're able to mix biz and woo, you're going to be able to create a sustainable future for your business. Because like going about it in just solely a masculine way and pushing is going to lead to burnout. So when you incorporate the woo, it will sustain your business. I know that this is something that so many people, few really hope so. Yeah, and so like what I was just gonna say is, I know this is something that people like often are like, I don't have time for this, or yeah, but like I have something way more important to do or get done. And I get it. I really honestly do, because I used to feel the same exact way, especially like when I was in a launch or there was crazy amount of work to do or get done inside my business. But it's so important to take the time to do these more woo-woo feminine things. And you know, sometimes I still do struggle with creating time, space, and energy for these practices, but I know without a doubt that these woo-woo practices have completely transformed my business for the better, and they have totally allowed me to create a business that was, or that is, in total alignment with my core truths and my core desires. And you know, this year last time I was struggling so much because I hit such a bad period of burnout. I had just hit 6 figures in 6 months time, and it was like the most unhappy, well, it was like a year and a month ago. It was the most unhappy I had ever been in my business, the, you know, most unfulfilled I had ever been. And I thought that that was like the ultimate dream. And so when I was so upset about it and just like not feeling in alignment, I was like, what gives? And that's when I really fell in love with the woo-woo stuff, and it's totally changed everything because I'm now operating from a place of what I desire rather than following what everybody else is doing out there. And I can't tell you how amazing that has been. Okay, so then as for the ultimate theme of what's available for you to take away, I pulled the 3 of Cups. And this is so awesome because it's all about celebration, abundance, and spending time with people that like you really love and enjoy and who want to celebrate with you, who are excited to celebrate you. So it's a really amazing card to wrap it up. And what I love about this too, it's just like more abundance, more joy, more happiness. And I think this is a great card for this group as well because the women inside of this space are so amazing. And it's such an incredible and beautiful support system. Like everybody here just shares so, you know, everyone's so giving and there's no lack mentality inside of this group. And so I think it's really important that on your journey that you are surrounding yourself with these like-minded people who are ready to celebrate you and are excited for, you know, your wins and who are also there to support you when things aren't going so hot. So like we said earlier with some of the other cards that we pulled, you know, haters gonna hate. There's always gonna be someone who says something or, you know, disagrees with what you're doing, and that's fine. But as long as you have those people who support you and can celebrate you for your uniqueness and the way that you're doing things, you're gonna be good. So overall, do not fear the woo-woo practices. It is not a waste of your time. When you integrate it into your business, a lot of magic can take place. So for those of you who have a desire to dive even deeper into the world of tarot, I highly recommend checking out Biddy Tarot. She has a really, really awesome website with so many helpful resources. She also has a podcast that I love listening to. So it's great for people who are just, you know, starting their journey. And before we wrap up, I also just want to briefly touch up on oracle cards, and I can show you. Everyone and their mom basically has this deck, I feel. But this is the Goddess Guidance Oracle deck by Doreen Virtue. And they're kind of like the little sister to tarot. And I know when I was first diving into this esoteric world, tarot felt a little bit intimidating. It felt like a big undertaking and I just wasn't ready for it. So oracle cards, for me at least, really felt so much more approachable and lighter. So I opted to work with those first. Again, there are no rules. There are 0 rules with, you know, what to do first. It's really about what you feel called to. So do what works for you. But one doesn't even have to replace the other. I still, you know, use both of them. Just last week, I was working with a one-on-one client and I pulled an oracle card for her. Let's see if it's still at the top. Oh no, it's not. I've used it since then. So yeah, I was working, or I pulled a card for her prior to our one-on-one session just to, you know, I don't know. I just felt like this hit to do it. So basically like what I asked her was I did like this like small like little thing. So I lit a candle, I closed my eyes, I did like a brief meditation. It was only a minute or 2. It doesn't have to be so like super involved ritual. It totally can be if you wanted to. But I asked my guides to work with my clients' guides in delivering a message that she needed to hear that day. And so she came on the call and I was like, hey, like, you know, I just want to let you know that I pulled a card for our session today because, I don't know, I was feeling called to, and this is what I pulled. And the card was Aracura, and this really is all about blossoming. And the card reads like you're just getting started, so have patience with yourself in the process and do not give up. And it was the perfect message for this particular client, because while she had planted seeds inside of her business a few months ago and, was like a little bit frustrated about some things that she didn't see come into fruition yet, it was just an amazing confirmation that, this harvest was coming and her biz would soon be like super visible and blossoming. So it was a great, reassurance. So there's really no limit to how you can use tarot or oracle cards, and there's so many different ways that you can use them inside of your business. And like I said, the most important thing is just finding a practice that you feel aligned with and excited about. And if it does feel really overwhelming, don't worry. There are so many resources out there and so many places to get support. And these are not the only tools to use inside of your business. So if these don't resonate with you and you're like, nah, I'm good, I don't need these card things, that's a little bit weird, no worries. There are so many more things that we can talk about. Like I said, I wanted to cover a bunch, but there's so many, so it'll take a little bit to dive into. But some other things that you can use are astrology, rituals, moon magic, crystals, the Akashic records. There's so much available to you. But like I said, I think that this is more than enough information to absorb for one day. But I just wanted to give you some insight into how I use it inside of my business. And I probably could go a little bit more into the how around it, but there's also so many resources that you can use. But I just really wanted you guys to get a feel for how practical it can be. So again, like yesterday, I was feeling really stuck and stagnant in this area, and it gave me so much momentum and confidence to move forwards. And I got so many ideas out. I had an action plan in place. So I was taking the masculine action, but I was so inspired by the woo-woo, more feminine stuff, and I needed that to get me spurred into action. So I would love to answer any questions that you guys have, or just hear your comments. Like, what did you guys think about this? Are you excited to implement any woo-woo practices inside of your business? Which ones? I would love to hear. And let me know which practices you'd like to hear more about too in the future. Lorraine says, would you suggest visiting a bookstore to buy a card deck in person and sense which ones you're drawn to, or is an Amazon purchase okay? So I'm sure people have varying opinions on this, but I personally bought mine on Amazon because I knew which deck I wanted and I was like, I'm getting that one. So, I think, of course, going in person and feeling them, looking through them is a great idea if you have that easily available to you. I was so busy the week that I ordered mine, and I was like, I just want to order this on Amazon. It'll be here tomorrow. So that's what I did. But yeah, whatever you want. And there's so many, you can look online too, and it'll show different pictures of the cards inside of the decks and stuff like that. So you can kind of explore them. A lot of people on Instagram too post pictures of their spreads, so you can get an idea of different decks that you can use. But again, I think it's whatever you feel called to. I don't like to get so strict around rules. I've heard people say that you shouldn't buy your own deck and someone should buy it for you, but whatever. I just opened a tab to have a look on Amazon. I need to learn patience, I think. I love it. That's awesome. Sarah says, love this. I really like what you said about matching it with your masculine side of your business and to gain inspiration and direction. Yeah, totally. So I am not just sitting here and pulling cards all day. Some days do I do that? Yeah, sure. But what's awesome about that too is that I think it's so important that you are embodying your message and you are, living it and diving into it. So yeah, some days are definitely more woo. Some days are definitely more biz. But I am not the type of person who can just sit and meditate all day, and that's not who I want to be. Yeah, no, that's not for me. As much as I love my unicorns and, crystals and all that stuff, I actually love working. I love taking action. I love doing Facebook Lives. I love writing. I love connecting. I love designing. I love content creation inside my programs. So, it's just the blend of the two, and just figuring out what blend works best for you. You know, when I first started, it was just very little woo, maybe like 5 minutes of meditating in the day, and I was like, ooh, go me. Or it was like buying a crystal to like amplify something, and that was cool too. I'm gonna share more with you guys about my friend Pamela Chen. She is fucking amazing. She doesn't have her website up and ready yet, but if you search her on Facebook, maybe I can get her to join the group. She literally has the best crystals ever. The way she advertises and markets her stuff, like, it just makes me want to buy all of them. It's incredible. So definitely check her out as a resource, but I'll dive into crystals and how you can use them inside of your business another time. Anything else? Any other questions or any, you know, specific practices that you're excited to implement inside of your business? I'd love to hear just like one small action step you're going to take too in terms of invoking more of the woo into your business. Because we can sit on these things and listen and be like, oh, such a great idea, awesome. And then like we go and check Facebook and something else is going on and completely forget about it. But I'd love for you to state an intention inside of these comments, either now as you're watching live or for people who are watching the replay. It's so powerful to state your intentions and have it witnessed by other people so you get that accountability as well. So would love to hear any intentions that you have, and I would love to support you in, you know, making them happen as well. So any questions, any accountability that you want, feel free to pop it in the chat. I have to go in like a minute. I don't know if anyone from Boston is on here right now, but we have a spiritpreneur. What? Oh, sorry. I was reading. It says, congratulations. This is your most liked video yet. And I was like, I thought someone was writing that to me. Megan says, love it and love this. Woo. Woo has been totally popping into my life over the past couple of weeks. Definitely checking out Oracle cards to get started. Yay. Awesome. I just spit at my phone too. Sorry. Lorraine says definitely going to try tarot or oracle deck or oracle cards. Thank you. And lighting a candle to set an intention. I like that. Yay. Like, yeah, something so small. That's awesome. Sarah says, I used to use oracle cards every morning and I stopped. So I'm going to start this again to focus my day or focus my business for the day. Awesome. That is amazing. I love, love, love these intentions. And like I was saying, if you are in Boston, we are doing a Soulful Woman Entrepreneurs meetup tonight. It is at 7. Where is it? It's at Life Alive in Cambridge. So if you want to join, message me and I can give you the details. I know, I think 1 or 2 people inside of this group are coming to the meetup. So I'm so excited. Rebecca says, I always felt drawn to cards. I really want to start using them. Yeah, do it. I think they're so fun. They're such a great tool to, like, again, tap into that intuition and to support you in your business. And there is no reason you know, can't get started today, literally today. Another book that I have that I'll recommend, ooh, my wallet, is The Ultimate Tarot Guide by Liz Dean. So like I said, I went through the cards and I wrote down like my definitions of it, but if you go inside, it talks a lot about the different cards and, their numerology links, the links to astrology and the elements, to Kabbalah, to the chakras, and like just how to read the reverse meaning. It talks about some spreads. It's a really cool resource. So I've had some fun with that, so I definitely recommend it. Okay, well, I hope you guys liked this, and I'm excited to dive into more woo-woo practices that you can use inside of your business. So if you have any recommendations or requests for what you want me to talk about next in terms of the woo-woo practices, let me know in the comments, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. I will see you later on. Bye, everybody.